quite some time. Why are many Democrats like secular, atheist, agnostic, etc., etc., etc.? And I pondered this for quite a while. Really, I have. And I think I've come close to cracking the code as to why this is. Why many Democrats, liberals, progressives, etc., etc., they hate Christianity, hate religion, are turned off by it, etc., etc. And I think the reason is this, and I'm going to be very bold here, I'm going to be very bold here and very, very honest, and this may offend some people, but it's just what I've come to conclude might be the truth. There's many people on the left that have made leftism, progressivism, or leftism, progressivism, liberalism, whatever, their religion. They fully religiously, and it's just as bad on the right, I've talked about this before, but they fully religiously have embraced progressivism, progressive values, democratic socialism, progressivism, leftism, liberalism, etc., 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 or even wokeism, if you will. And they've embraced it to the point where it's their religion now. Like, it's their religion. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. And that's, it's the truth. And this is why they want to stick to their ultra-progressive values and not give glory to God for any of it. Not give glory to God for anything that they, not give any, they just want to religiousize their socialist, democratic socialist, woke, whatever, religious, their progressive values, if you will. And that's just what it is. They've made it their religion. A lot of them have just made it their religion. That's how they identify. That's their day-to-day life. That's how they, that's who they were. That's who they became to be. That became their entire identity, so to speak. And the sad part about this is kind of a problem. I want to be honest with you. I was watching Matt Walsh's movie. Yes, I did temporarily subscribe to Daily Wire Plus. I'm unsubscribing next month because it doesn't match my politics. But I did temporarily subscribe to Daily Wire Plus to watch Matt Walsh's movie, Am I a Racist? And basically, Matt Walsh took an undercover form, if you will, of this ultra-secular, woke guy who made being anti-racist his entire religion. That was his undercover identity that he took. So, I was watching that, and he goes to the point where self-flogging, that's what we have to do. Self-flogging, talking about spreading the woke agenda, if you will. And I don't want to call it an agenda. Because I agree with woke values. I just don't make woke my entire identity. I agree with leftist values, but I don't make leftism my entire identity. I agree with progressive values, but I don't make progressivism my entire identity. My first identity is a child of God. But the problem is that, Matt Walsh took this example of being this woke, liberal, anti-racist professor, and he made that his entire identity as an act, if you will. And the reality of the matter is that we see people who have made this their entire identity. And when they make that their entire identity, they push out God, if you will. They push out God because they don't want anything to do with Christianity, God, Jesus Christ, or religion in general. They just want to be woke. They just want to be progressive. They just want to be super liberal. And I think that's the code to it. I think that's the reason why so many Democrats, liberals, progressives are turned off by Christianity and religion. We can also talk about, gay rights and LGBT rights, because we know that the right hates that, and right doesn't want to give, gay people their rights and all that stuff. They don't want to do that. We can also talk about, even women's issues, abortion, and women are turned off by that and see that as a religious thing. We can talk about all kinds of things, trans issues and whatever, trans, they don't want, Republicans are really anti-trans and militantly anti-anything that's not conservative. And we could talk about all this stuff, and it's true that there's a lot of hate on the conservative right, on the conservative religious right, a lot of bigotry on the conservative religious right that has pushed a lot of progressives and Democrats away from Christianity and away from religion. And also at the same time, we could talk about, so-called science, like teaching evolution and teaching, this and that, like, gender identity, whatever. I was about to say gender identity, but I'm double thinking that. Teaching evolution and teaching, like, all this stuff. We can talk about all that. But at the end of the day, it's like, it comes down to one thing and one thing only. A lot of folks on the left, a lot of progressives, liberals, woke people have made it their entire identities. And when they make it their entire identity as a woke, liberals, democratic, socialist, progressive, whatever, that becomes who they are. And when that becomes who they are, they push God out of their life. It's good to hold, as I do, it's good to hold progressive values. It's good to hold liberal values. It's good to hold democratic values. It's good to hold woke values. But it's not good to make that your entire identity of who you are. And when that happens, that's what pushes religion away. That's what pushes, Christianity and Christ and God away from the left. And that's my theory. That's a theory, and that's just one theory. If you guys disagree, if you guys have any other thoughts about this, let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. I'm just giving some thoughts here, and take care. Tuning out.